Alright guys, so I did this video on Vlaire a long while ago. You guys remember Vlaire? I remember Vlaire. I'm still not happy that how that all turned out. Anyway, so, yeah, let's talk about this fun idea. Basically, this is my idea of how I would build a new Universal Studios / Island of Adventure park. So this is just ideas I was just kind of spitballing, and you're probably wondering, well, why are you doing Universal and Islands of Adventure first and not Disney first? Because I like Universal more than Disney. I know. Your boy who lives in, a state where Disney Part 2 is not so far away from. But also Universal. And Universal is, well, let's just say Universal is done right by my family a lot, so respect. Anyway, so yeah, this is just going to be how I would build, where I would build a new park, and how if I had any say, like this is how I would make a new park and Islands of Adventure. For those who don't know what I'm talking about, Islands of Adventure is a Universal Studios Orlando exclusive park that is the sister park to Universal Studios, where a lot of each area in this side of the park is all centered around different themes. Like there's a section for Marvel, there's a section for classic comic book strips. There's also areas for Jurassic World, Harry Potter, which also is kind of part of the which is also kind of now part of Universal Studios Diagon Alley, which is also at Universal Orlando. But, anyway, so that's, for those who are like, what the hell's Islands of Adventure? Well, now you know. So this is going to be my idea of, how I would build one, and I'm still worried about Epic Park, which may have been canceled because of the fucking pandemic. God damn it, 2020! Anyway, so let's start with Universal Studios and this new Islands of Adventure. So where would I put... I don't know where I would put this new Universal Studios and Islands of Adventure, but let's start with Universal Studios first. What would I do with a new Universal Studios? I would basically keep a lot of the themes of, a lot of the movie... you're writing the movie now. That's the whole point, is that you're now writing the movie. I would, however... bring back a lot of classic rides. I don't think you can do another Simpsons ride, so you can't use that. So I would try to bring back the classic Jaws ride. I feel like that, that was kind of lacking. So I would do a new Jaws ride. Since we've got more updated animatronics, we've got more updated software, we could definitely do something better in this angle. I would like to do something with Kong. I would like to bring back Kongfrontation. But I don't know what, that animatronic would cost a lot of money, and it would break down a lot. But I don't know if I would do the Peter Jackson version of the 4D. For those who are uninitiated, there is a Peter Jackson's Kong ride at Universal, and it's more or less 4D screens and whatever. I don't know if I would do that. I would not have, I'll tell you this, I would not have that god-awful Fast and Furious ride. In no way, shape, or form would I have that piece of shit there. I hope that thing gets torn down. I think what I would like to do, I would like to do since it is technically Universal, well, it's actually Warner Brothers, so you can't really... I was going to suggest it, but they do have the rights to do this, so instead of a Simpsons ride, hear me out, I would like to do a Beetlejuice ride. I would like to do a straight-up Beetlejuice ride for the park that would utilize the same kind of motion sensor and IMAX screen that the Simpson ride uses, and instead use Beetlejuice. I don't know how that ride would go out, but it would definitely be a Beetlejuice ride instead of the Simpsons. And, that whole area around instead would be, the afterlife. It would be like Halloween... It would be like, Halloween Horror Nights 24/7. But I wouldn't have, scare actors. I would have characters around that are from Beetlejuice. From the Beetlejuice movies. So, yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely, absolutely, just make it a Beetlejuice ride instead of The Simpsons, because, yeah, you can't do that again with Disney. So, that would be another one. I would keep the Mummy ride, because the Mummy's Revenge is the best ride at Universal. Don't try to fight me on this, you will lose. Rip, Roll, and Roller Coaster, I'd like to keep that, too. I don't know if I would do, and maybe just me because I'm biased. I'm a biased old man. I would not have the. I would not have the Despicable Me show. I've never been on it, so but I do know it's just bad. It's just not great. I would, however, switch out the Shrek theater ride with Kung Fu Panda or How to Train Your Dragon. If you guys remember, there is like a 4D experience of Shrek that's really outdated now. So I would switch that out for like Kung Fu Panda or more directly How to Train Your Dragon. Definitely do one of those two. So, what else? I've talked about Confrontation, of doing like a new updated version. Maybe do like smaller animatronics and maybe go the route of like something along the lines of like the Spider-Man ride and make it more like that. Like Kong is attacking attacking New York and you're in a cab that's trying to get out of there in the middle of this, or being a military escort in the middle of it. Yeah, that actually works. Like, now that I think about it, like, that would be the ride, is that you're in the midst of Kong's escape and into New York, and he's attacking the city, so the military is trying to get you out, and you go into a convoy, and in the middle of it, you get attacked by animatronics, 4D screens. That's how I would do, like, a new version of Confrontation. Why they didn't do that, I don't know, but alright. I mean, they did that with the so that would actually be, instead of the Transformers ride, which is basically the Spider-Man ride over at Universal, that would be my pick. Instead of doing Transformers the ride, it would be a new version of Confrontation. So, there you go. What else? I feel like a Men in Black Alien Attack, I'd like to bring that, I'd also like to bring that in, but update it just with more usable animatronics, as well as more updated effects. Like, make it more 4D, like it's not on a track, it's more like on a trackless thing, kind of like at Rise of Resistance, something of that nature. That would be cool. Yeah, there you go. So, what was I gonna say? Yeah, so there's, like, roughly a few of ideas I had for, actually, am I forgetting? I feel like I'm forgetting something, but I don't know. But there you go. There's kind of like a rough idea for the Universal Studios stuff. So let's move on to Islands of Adventure. Like, what would be in my version of this new version of Islands of Adventure? So the two things I would take out, I will tell you right now, the two things I would take out are, because you can't do them anymore because of Disney and the other one's just boring as shit. And I would maybe take out a third one. And I'll tell you why in a moment. But that's a maybe. But we'll get to the two I'm definitely taking out of this new Islands Adventure. The two I'm taking out are Marvel Studios, because you can't do that anymore with Disney, because of Disney, so don't bother. And the other one would be the classic comic, like the classic cartoons and stuff like Popeyes and all that. I would take that out because no one cares about them. But I would replace it with something else. The other thing I actually might not replace it now that I think about it. The other thing I was thinking about, but now that I think about it, I won't replace, is I would not replace Seuss Landing, which is the Dr. Seuss land over at Islands Adventure. I would not do that. I would like to put new rides in there, though. I'd really like to update it. It is for kids, but I would like to put in new rides, like maybe a new trackless ride. Like maybe update the Cat in the Hat ride and make it more like the Winnie the Pooh ride over at Disney, where it's trackless and have a little fun with it. Or maybe do something with the Lorax. That'd be kind of cool, and that'd be kind of fun. I'm just thinking out loud. But I don't know if you... Well, DreamWorks does own the rights to the suit, so yeah, they could do it, no problem. Anyway, I'm also keeping Harry Potter because, even though I'm no way stretch of the imagination a Harry Potter fan, I will say that I would recognize that Harry Potter makes money, and that's the only thing Universal has to compete with Star Wars, so I would be keeping Harry Potter. I'd also be keeping Jurassic World. I'd also be keeping, what's the other ones? Seuss Landing. I mentioned Seuss Landing. Taking out the Marvel ones. I think that's, yeah. Yeah, so let's get on. Let's actually get on to the ones I would replace. Let's get on to the two lands I would replace. So the first one I would like to replace for this is for the Cartoon Lagoon, the Toon Lagoon. I would actually replace that with a new land, but I would use cartoons, Nicktoons. I would actually use Nicktoon, the Nickelodeon characters, because they are in a deal with the Universal. So instead of, I would make it like with cartoon characters, but instead I would be using Nickelodeon characters. Like it is not hard to make a SpongeBob ride from the from the Dudley Do-Right Falls and just make that into SpongeBob. Like that, it would not be hard to transition that over to SpongeBob. The other thing I would like to make, instead of having a Popeye ride, the Rapids, I would replace it with something else, and that would be a Danny Phantom ride. And I would make that Danny Phantom ride in the vein of the Spider-Man ride. The 3D screens, have Danny there blasting stuff, blasting ghosts. Why am I saying stuff? I'm sorry. So yeah, him fighting ghosts, and you're caught in the middle of it. Like you could have it like you're working for Jack Fenton now, and Jack Fenton has sent you to go fight ghosts out in Amity Park, which have been overrun by ghosts. There you go. There you go. Right there. That would be my new ride for this area. I would also like to do a ride, maybe as a show, and kind of like a 4D show with the Loud House. Yeah, there you go. Like it's a day in the life with Lincoln and his family. So Loud House show in the vein of the Despicable Me ride. Like you could just Lily farts, and it's just like it fills the room with horrible gas, or something like that, or someone burps, smell. Like I said, 4D show. So there you go. So the last thing, instead of a Marvel area in this new version of Islands of Adventure, I would replace it with Universal Monsters. That's right, I would straight up do a Universal Monster Land. I want that, and I'm still hoping, because Epic Universe said that that was one of the lands that was going to be part of it, was the Universal Monsters. So that would be my pick. Instead of because you can't do Marvel, and I doubt Warner Brothers is going to let you do DC, because for those who don't know, Batman and Superman were meant to be the original land instead of Marvel. But then Warner Brothers said, fuck y'all, and then Universal was like, hey Marvel, can we use your characters? And they're like, yeah, go ahead. So, and that was, keep in mind, that was before the buyout. But so this is in the mindset of it is post-buyout. So Universal Monsters, it's perfect. There's been a major resurgence for them. I would love to do, like, the main thing could be Frankenstein's castle or Dracula's castle. You could have the monsters be walk-around characters. You could have all these different things for it. Like definitely like a roller coaster ride with all the monsters. The sky's the limit. The sky's the limit for something like this. So that would be my major changes to Islands of Adventure. Would be Nickelodeon characters for instead of Toon Lagoon, and a Universal Monster area instead of Marvel Comics. I would also like to put a little more How to Train Your Dragon in there somewhere. Like maybe, because there is the Lost Continent area, so maybe have stick in a How to Train Your Dragon area, maybe. Anyway, so you guys tell me in the comments below, what did you guys think of this? Do you guys like it, hate it? And how would you make a Universal Studios / Islands of Adventure area? And what kind of rides would you have? Just comment below, let me know. And once again, I'm Mr. Multiverse. I will see you next time in the Multiverse.